we're doing wrong. They're always correcting our mistakes. They don't say, you did this right. They say, oh, you got to correct this, you got to focus on this, right? Mm-hmm. Parents, leaders, it's the way our culture kind of runs when we're little. So we get into that paradigm, always looking for the things we're doing wrong. We need to get into the habit of looking for the things we're doing right. And as we do that, we're gonna be happier every day. I'm a confident person, I think, compared to the average person. And part of it is just that I focus on my wins. So my son exudes confidence right now, okay? He's 5 years old. My daughter just turned 8 last week. She doesn't exude confidence. She's always looking at the things she's doing wrong. And that's partially my fault because, well, I won't get into all that. I've made mistakes as a parent, right? And I was more concerned that was doing everything right myself with my first kid. And my second kid, I've relaxed already a little bit, okay? I'm relaxing with both of them. But with my son, he just has confidence in everything. He expects that he's going to get it right, no matter what the task is. He's not competitive. He's not a competitive bone in his body. You play a game with him, and at the end, he'll be like, I lost! Just cheers, because he's playing games with people, okay? There's no connotation to those things. Well, there's starting to be some connotation in some of those things, because his sister is very competitive. But again, competitiveness is often, not all the time, it's often associated with a lack that we feel in ourselves. That somehow if we win something, it means that we're better for ourselves. Not all the time, so it's a wide generalization. My son, we homeschool. And my wife, this would have been in September. He's in kindergarten this year. So he's starting to read, he's starting to do all these different activities. And she said, Enoch, what we're going to be doing to start off with this year is I want to see where your level is right now with reading and understanding language in a written form or even in sound form. So I'm going to give you a test and see where you're at. He's like, great, bring it on, okay? He doesn't have all the connotations. He said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a word and I want to separate the word into all the different sounds in the word. So for example, if I say duck, I want you to say d-a-k. I want to see your ability to hear all the sounds and understand them. He said, great, I'm good at this. I was watching, I was beaming at this. I was giggling inside, okay? Just because I know he's going to get a bunch of them wrong. And yet I'm delighting in watching his confidence here. So he'd also been watching his sister, and his sister's a really good reader, okay? I'm reading them Lord of the Rings right now. They're 8 and 5, and they comprehend everything that I'm reading to them. Not every word, but they'll fit it. If they don't know a word, I'll say, what does this word mean? And they'll take a guess. And they're right almost all the time. So my son, my wife gives him a couple of really easy ones like cat. He's like, at. See, I'm great. He's honestly saying these things, okay? And it's not arrogance. He's just delighting how good he is at everything. And then she gave him a little more difficult word. It was like Brad. And he said, at. See, I'm fantastic at this. Even though he's getting it wrong, he just believes that he's good at some things. Now, listen, confidence, as you gain confidence in areas, you just automatically start to do better at things because you're willing to try things and you expect to win. You expect to be successful in it. This is a really good gift. I hope so much, and I'm working towards this, that my son keeps this and that my daughter remembers this, her confidence at some level and continues to grow in it. It's such a gift that you can give somebody else. As you grow in confidence, so I haven't talked about this aspect at all. As you grow in confidence, guess what difference you make for others in your life? The people around us, not just kids. Kids, soak up so much more. You're talking about your son, how he wants was it for his birthday?
Yeah.
For his birthday, Rick's son, how old is he? 6?
He's 6, yeah.
His 6-year-old son, for his birthday, what he wants, he doesn't want a toy, he wants a shirt
from where?
With his dad's business on it.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. Because kids are always looking at their parents.
He came to work with me one day, and his birthday's coming up in a month. And yeah, he's like, this is what I want for my birthday. And I was like, thrown back a bit, because he usually wants a toy.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, just it's a beautiful example of how kids, but it's not just kids, other people around us want to be like us. I'm serious. Remember, who was it the first day? Was it Andrew? I think maybe. You said, I want to learn about self-image, or I struggle with self-image a little bit. And I kind of pulled it away and said, how many people assume that Andrew's got it all together? And everyone's hand went straight up, okay? We look at ourselves and struggle sometimes to see our own work. Other people see a lot of value in us. So other people are copying us. Other people are listening to us. You have a huge influence of people on the people around you. So as you start to understand gratitude, as you start to build confidence, guess what you give to other people? You give gratitude. You give self-confidence to other people. They learn this through the process. That is a wonderful gift that you give to others. And it usually doesn't come through teaching, do this, 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 this. It often comes through exuding it, being part of it. Okay? Other people go, wait a second, I could do that. I know this guy's story. I know this girl's story. She was nothing at one time just like me. and that's kind of how we feel. And then we move on. Okay, the last thing that I want you to do on a daily basis is I want you to learn. I want you to learn. So, we've got a setup for this with you. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to do something outside of this, but I would encourage you to get into the habit of doing something even outside of this, out of what we're doing here. We're going to be going through a book. We're going to have a book club together. And Ken's format is fantastic. I have never come across a better book club format than what he, Joanne, and Bob and Lou practice on a weekly basis. This is what they do. Correct me if I'm wrong, or do you want to explain this?
Well, we started off actually reading the chapter, and we've gotten away from that, but I think we need to get back to it.
Yes.
So we'll actually read the chapter, and we'll take turns going around the group reading a page, and then the next person picks up wherever we stop. And we read the chapter, because reading it out loud is very, very different than just reading it. Because when you read it, it's like those things you see on Facebook all the time where can you read this thing backwards, or all the misspelled words, because your mind will fill in stuff, right? Also, and you touched on this in Calgary, when you're reading, your thoughts go off in different directions and you'll miss a whole paragraph. And I'm terrible at this. I have to read a paragraph 2 or 3 times sometimes in order for it to stick. So I'm a very slow reader compared to Joanne. And but by reading it out loud as a group, it just means so much more. Then when we get back together, you can, or again, I think we have to get back to doing this. We read that same chapter again, and then we discuss it. And you have to read it every day between the meetings as well. This most recent book, I'm struggling with getting through once a week. It's so deep, and so I can't wrap my head around it, and it's bothersome too, because it's talking about emotions and feelings, which I don't like to deal with. But it's bringing up a lot of stuff. So it's just, and I think it was Joseph, just this morning I was talking to Joseph, wasn't it? Like, you read a chapter, you read a paragraph or something like that, and what I take out of it, Brad, you'll take something totally different. You know, really? You got that? And Bob is so insightful. He dissects his chapters. It's incredible. And he comes back and I'm like, you got that over there? Where? And I'm going, oh, okay, yeah. And it's just so much more impactful.
So what we're going to be doing.
And you notice we gave each of you your own book. Even couples. When you buy a book now, you don't buy one book. It'll be cheap. Get 2. Because that's your book. Okay? It's not Daryl's book, that's your book. And you write in your book your notes, your thoughts and feelings and whatnot as well.
Yeah, that's such a good idea, because some people want to write and mess up and bend corners and do all these things, and other people want to keep it pristine. Then everyone gets what they need to get the most out of their own experience.
Yeah.
So typically when I run the TIR program, I do 30-day challenges. 30-day challenges. And what that is I give people a certain article or book, and every day for 30 days they read the same thing over and over and over again. Every day. Okay? We're actually coming up to, in one small group that Brad's part of, we're coming up to the end of one of them in a few days here. This is what I'm going to experiment with this time, okay? I'm going to give you the option, if you want to be part of a 30-day challenge, you can be part of that, and I'll start a group of us doing that want to be. So that's the extra reading, the extra learning. But every day, for 2 weeks, you're going to be reading one chapter of one book, The Big Leap. And then at the end of these 2 weeks, and we'll discuss it as far as time goes, we'll have a format for that as well. All right? So every day, for 2 weeks, for 14 days, you're going to be reading the same book. Every day for 14 days, you're going to be watching a video from Bob Proctor over and over and over again. Then something that a lot of my clients at the beginning, not everyone, a lot of my clients at the beginning have a hard time with is like, what the hell, come on. How many times do I have to go through this before I know it? We live in a culture that, again, we say, once I've read it, I know it, I can move on. And that's not true at all. As Ken was just saying, sometimes we're reading and our minds are off in different places. Sometimes when you're listening or watching a video, your mind, so here, I'll give you an example. This is something that Bob Proctor showed me, and I agree with it absolutely. Okay? So, this is the book, or this is the video, or this is the audio that you're engaged with right now. And what happens with our minds is we will be paying attention, then a thought will come based on the material, and we go off in a new direction. And for a little while, our mind isn't even focused on the material. We're not even hearing things, okay? Because our mind is completely engaged, our conscious mind is completely engaged in our thoughts in the moment. That's fine. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Because when you are engaged in the material, that's when you're learning. That's when you're learning. So then you're back, you're listening for a little while, and guess what happens? And it goes on and on like that, okay? So there are times when you read or hear or watch something, and maybe half the time, maybe 75% of the time, you're not even hearing what's going on. Because you're focused on your own thoughts and what's going on there. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. Having said that, say the next time, actually I use this stuff. Say the next time you do this. Say the next time you do this, you start and you hear, oh, that's when you go up. And you're only for a little while there. And then you hear another thing, oh, and your mind's gone again. And every time you listen to this, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time, sometimes it takes 7 or 14 times just to hear the entire thing completely. Because there will be gaps. Almost every time you'll get stuck on certain things, that's fine. But there's a gap there that you're not even hearing. So one benefit of repetition is it's actually you're actually hearing everything at least once over 14 days. The other one, once for 30 days. The other part that's really important with repetition is how we believe different things. Repetition is how we learn different things. So, how many people believe they'd be comfortable singing Canada's national anthem right now, word for word, they'd get every word? Some of us. When's the last time you sang the national anthem, outside of a sporting event, when's the last time you sang the Canadian national anthem?
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day? Good. Anyone else? Remembrance Day? Often when I ask this, people say grade 6 in elementary school. The last time I remember singing the national anthem. Okay? And yet, most people, even if it's been years or months since we last sang the national anthem, a lot of people have confidence that they could sing it right now. Why? There's just been so much repetition. We've had it so many times that it changes the way we view our country. We see the shining sea. Like those ideas are planted into our minds. Okay? Strength and vastness. We have those ideas planted into our minds. It comes through repetition. And most of that repetition came in like 6 years of our lives in elementary school. Singing in front of in like a gym or whatever. In French. That was the only time I ever sang the national anthem in French. And yet I can still repeat certain parts of that in my head. Okay? It's amazing what repetition does. You have learned your inadequacies, the feelings of inadequacy. You have learned that failure is a bad thing. You have learned that these things have come in whatever you believe because of all the repetition in your life. And one thing that we're going to be doing this year is giving you a lot of repetition. And throughout that repetition, something's going to change for you. You're going to start realizing, whoa, repetition is actually the key to actually learning something. You're going to hear this lots from Bob Proctor. He has read the same book, the same copy of the same book. It's fallen all over the place, fallen apart. For what, 56 years now. Every day, he has read a passage of this book for 56 years. And now, no matter who you ask, if they understand personal development in the industry, Bob Proctor will be one of the top 3 coaches on anyone's lists on the planet, consistently. Top 3. And he attributes that to repetition for himself. That he's just internalized ideas so much that they're part of who he is. And so he can now speak to them and he can now live them out in a really unique way. And that's what's going to be happening for us as well. Any questions about this?
You're going to touch on the videos, because the challenge I have with watching the video every day is it becomes white noise.
Yeah.
And you just watch it for the sake of your commitment, but you're not taking anything in.
Yeah.
I struggled with that until Mark gave me a very good tip, and that was to consciously look for something different each time. So now you're having to pay attention. And you have to write something down then at the end of watching that video.
And even
that
more-
engages you more.
Yeah, so basically what you said at the end, Ken, is the key for me. Be engaged every day. The way to be engaged is ask a question, search for something. Instead of going and going, oh, this is the 30th time I've watched this. And that might come up, okay? That might come up. As you hear the Pontiac story, I remember getting so frustrated with that Pontiac story. Listened to it for 2 weeks, twice a day I was listening to it. Going, shut up about the stupid Pontiac. I don't care about the Pontiac. Or certain expressions that he has. And then I'll pay attention to them, okay? And then start to get annoyed with them. And if your focus gets on that, what I want you to do is I want you to change your focus. If it starts becoming white noise, what I want you to do, or even before it becomes that, because then it won't, look for the one thing that you need to hear that day. What's the one thing in the article, in the audio, in the video? What is the one thing that you need to get from this that would make a difference for your life today? Because if you ask that question, it might not be new. It might be something that came up for you a few weeks ago. But if you go in with that attitude of what's the one thing that I'm going to find today, guess what your subconscious mind starts searching for? Start searching for the one thing that you need. And guess what you will find every single time? At least one thing that you need. It's like saying, I've got a bad memory, so I'm going to forget. Your subconscious mind just goes, okay, well, it's no use trying. But when you say, it'll come back to me, I'll remember that, then your subconscious mind takes that from your conscious mind and goes, okay, I've got to do my work now. I've been given an instruction that I'm going to remember, so I'm going to do it now. It's a very huge strength of the subconscious mind. It's like a search engine in the background, just whirring away. You type in a search, and you go do other work on your computer, it's just whirring away, figuring things out. When it has the answer, maybe it gives a ding on certain computers or whatever. You go back in and you go, oh, I've got the answer. That's what our subconscious mind is like if we train it.
A great visual or a great story that I really connect with is that the subconscious mind is we remember in pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so it's sort of like when you ask your subconscious mind, you know, a name, a event or whatever, and you just draw a blank, you can't find it, and Mark is right, if you just say, well, I can't, I've got a bad memory, then it shuts down right there. But if you give it permission to go looking for it, your subconscious, that person working in there just needs more time to find it. And they'll keep going through all the file folders until they find it, and then it could be a day later, say, got it, it's far too late, but it's, I got it. So it's a matter of organizing your files better. And you can organize your files better through pictures,
Yeah.
through association.
Yeah.
So you can memorize an entire presentation without any notes, just through association and pictures. There's a whole structure for that.
Yeah, so this is a really quick example because it's such a good example. The next time, think about something that you typically misplace. Whatever that is, it's different for everyone, okay? Whatever that is, the next time you put that thing somewhere, what I want you to imagine is that it explodes. Just bring in a picture into your mind of this thing exploding, and there's shrapnel in different places. It brings different vividness to your imagination, okay? I guarantee you will find it when you're looking for it the next time, soon after. Because that's how our minds remember. Pictures, association, emotion, specific detail, all of those things.
Now, before you get going any further, Mark,
Yeah.
one of the most common complaints about this weekend is that you don't stop often enough. Because you're too passionate now.
Yeah, sure.